What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Gold Guy YouTube channel. Today we're working on the TS185 yet again, and in this episode we're going to be trying to save the old brake, clutch, and throttle cables. Yes, that's right, we're going to try to be saving these old cables, and what I mean by saving is that they are completely locked up. I can't get them to move at all, none of them. And that's probably just due to water getting inside the cable and then rusting and just freezing everything together. So I've already got the clutch cable off the bike and the front brake cable off the bike. I still need to get the throttle cable off the bike. As you can see, here's the throttle cable. And as I learned from you guys, thanks for telling me this, the throttle cable has two ends simply because one is going to the carburetor, which is removed. I took it off and cleaned it, and if you didn't see that video, link up here or in the description. So the other end of the cable goes into the what's called the oil injector pump. So we still got to remove this end of the cable. I couldn't really figure it out, but it looks like we just need to remove this case. I didn't even need to remove it. It's got a cutout. And then there's another little cover that covers up the oil injector pump. What did I expect?
More spiders in there.
This is a cable we need to remove. It's going right down into here, which is covered up. This cover right here. There we go. And we got the chain out of the way. I was right about to give up too. There is the wire going right into the oil injector pump. There we go, guys. Cable's free. Now we just gotta loosen up the stud. That's strange. Well, we got our cable. Here we go, we've got the throttle cable loose. This is not a how-to video on how to unfreeze cables. Simply, that would just be stealing, because I watched another video on another guy's channel, Dalton's Garage. He made a how-to video on this already, using these things. Well, he didn't use that. That's my little addition. I'll explain this a little bit more later, but we're going to be using these things to free up these cables. So now I guess I should explain to you guys how I'm going to unfreeze these cables. So, as you can see, I've got these Fiji water bottles. No, they don't have to be Fiji. And we're going to drill a hole in the cap, fill the bottle with oil, put the cable into the cap, and pretty much just let it sit like that, and the oil will eventually run its way all the way through the cable and loosen it up again. First thing we got to do is take the ends off of the cables, so let's do that. There you go, it's pretty easy. Just make sure not to lose this. So the throttle cable's a little bit different. There's no real way to pull the end of this off. There's no slot or anything. So as you can see, I got some dikes in my hand. I'm just going to clip this, and then I'm going to re-weld that together later. I've done that before and it works. There we go. Then pull that off, and we got a nice skinny end there. You want to make sure to get a drill bit that's slightly smaller than the diameter of the cable, so that it squeezes on really tightly and the oil only goes down the hole and doesn't just leak out on the sides. The hardest part is getting this cable end through it, and there we go. And chances are you're probably going to have a little bit of play in the cap, so we're going to melt some hot glue into the inside of the cap, and that'll seal it up quite nicely. And then we're going to want to fill up one of the bottles with some oil. It doesn't matter what kind of oil you use. I'm just going to use 10W40 motor oil. You just want to fill it up about halfway. As long as the level of oil is going to be higher than the end of your cable, you'll be good. And this is where it's going to get a little different. The guy in the other video didn't use any PB blaster, but I'm going to spray some penetrating oil in with that oil, just to thin the oil up a little bit and speed up the process. Alright, let's take our cable cap and thread it on there. There we go. So that's pretty much it. Let's tip it over, see if it leaks. It looks like this one is not leaking at all. That's perfect. If you're feeling risky, you could try to squeeze the bottle to push some of the oil in there. But I'm not feeling too risky today, guys. So the next step, drill another hole in the top of the bottle. And this one is a drain so that the air can push the oil down into the cable. And then you're not just gonna stand here and hold this for 3 days. So what I did, I just made some nice little hooks out of a coat hanger. Gonna pop that in the hole we made at the top, and then you're gonna hang that up just like an IV. Quote the guy that made the other video, he said that. I stole his joke. That'll do. And number 3. If you guys notice that there are any leaks around the holes, just take your hot glue, smudge it around there. Half an hour later and there's already oil in the cup, and you can see the oil is coming through the seams. So oil's definitely actually running through the cables. It's been about 2 hours, and check this out. That's the throttle cable. Let's check the other one. This is the front brake cable. This one's still seized up. Let's check out the clutch cable. And the clutch cable's still seized up. So I'm going to leave this overnight and just see what happens. Update time. What's up, guys? So here are the cables, as you can see. So one of the oil IV bottles is empty, and that would be the throttle / oil injector cable. As you can see, all the oil ran through this side of the cable into the cup. So the clutch cable, still no oil has came through. The front brake cable and the clutch cable still have oil in the bottles. This one's empty, so we're going to take the throttle cable out, check it out. It's going to be a little bit of an oily mess, but you got to do what you got to do, guys. So there we go. There's the throttle cable. Let's take the bottle off and test it out. See if it's free. That looks pretty good to me, guys. Alright. Throttle cable's freed up. Let's check on the other two. Let's see if we can get these cables moving at all. Nope. Let's check on the clutch cable. Nope. Still no clutch cable. Well, guys, it's been 2 days and one of the cables is freed up. The other two are still frozen. I've just added some oil with the good old syringe here, and we're gonna wait another day or two or however long it takes. And these cables have been hanging all day long. I'm getting a little bit impatient, so I'm gonna take them down, drain the oil out. It looks like oil is dripping out through the actual cable now, so I think that's a good sign. The joy of editing. So the audio here was messed up, but anyway, once I removed the cables from the bottles, they were still frozen up. I proceeded to become more impatient, and then I took them to the vise, and here's what I did. So I'm going to use my vise, and I'm going to see if I can clamp down on this cable, and then use a long pair of needle nose pliers like these. And I'm just going to see if I can get leverage on the end of the vise and see if I can pull this cable to free it up. So, let's see what we can do. Holy shit. It moved a lot. So here's the clutch cable. That's what it looks like now. Unfortunately, I could not fix the clutch cable. Wha-bam! Thank you so much for watching, guys. I started this video off with 3 frozen cables from the Suzuki TS185 two-stroke dirt bike, and I'm ending the video with 2 usable cables and 1 cable that I could not fix, the clutch cable. If I would have let the oil IV do its magic for a little bit longer, maybe the clutch cable eventually would have gotten unfrozen, but I'm happy with that. I got 2 cables working. I'll just buy a new clutch cable, and I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, couldn't you have just bought all 3 of them and you would have saved your time and you would have had 3 brand new cables? I did look into that, guys, but trust me, new cables for an old bike like this can get pretty expensive. And I remember how it was when I was a lot younger and I didn't have any money to spend on projects. I just had to do stuff like this all the time. So for people like that, or people just trying to stay completely original, whoever you are, if you want to use this method to save your old frozen cables for motorcycles, quads, trikes, whatever the heck you've got cables on, then feel free to use this method. Hopefully it works for you guys. It worked for me 2 out of 3 times, so that's pretty good. That's all I gotta say for this one, guys. Stay tuned for Friday. We're gonna get the gas tank going. Stay tuned for next Tuesday. We might be getting this bike running again. We'll see. Peace out. Thank you so much for watching.